and they don't want to hear nothing of what you're saying. They don't want to hear nothing of what you're saying. But all of a sudden you form a bond with them and they trust you. And they don't agree with your faith, but they watch your actions. And then as they start coming up with things, they're saying, I got problems, I got stuff. One day they sit down and say, so what is this faith thing about? Like, how do you handle this? And that's when you get your open door. See, we plan it as we're going to go in and we're going to tell them, and they're going to be crying on the floor, and they're going to, they're going to absolutely accept Christ, and I'm going to be the one to say, I led them to the Lord. No. Sometimes we pray for people all our lives, and they never come to the Lord. But I thought it would. We believed. Well, maybe it happened on their deathbed. Maybe the prayer was answered then. Nothing goes as planned, right? So let's go to the next slide. Genesis chapter 12. I'm sorry. Yes. Jeez, I didn't put the chapter in there. It's 37. Genesis chapter 37, verse 12 through 36. That's where we're going to look. So if you have your Bibles, you can look. Your phones, you can check it out there, or you can simply look at the screen. I'll give everybody a second to get there. And like I said, teenager, attitude. He gets something from God and he's like, yeah, check me out. And boy, he had no idea the next 13 years of his life was going to be like. Interesting. All right, let's get it started. So verse 12. Now we're going to do a little bit of reading, so honey, you need to be concentrating on flipping the screens. No. I'm going to be flipping these fast. Okay? Okay? All right. Now his brothers had gone to graze their father's flocks near Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, as you know, your brothers are grazing the flocks near Shechem. Come, I am going to send you to them. Very well, he replied. So he said to him, go and see if all is well with your brothers and with the flocks, and bring word back to me. And then he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. And when Joseph arrived at Shechem, a man found him wandering around the fields, asking him, what are you looking for? He replied, I'm looking for my brothers. Can you tell me where they are grazing their flocks? They have moved out on from here, the man answered. I heard him say, let's go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them near Dothan. But they saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. Mm-hmm. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other. Wow. That's what people were saying about you. When you have a vision and you have a dream that God has put on your heart, and people are already mocking you because you've already told it to them. That's what they're saying. Most people don't want other people to succeed because that old saying, misery loves company. Yeah. See, so if you fail with me, we're all in the same boat. But for you to actually believe in a vision from God, and people are already counting you out, you now become the underdog. Mm-hmm. But here's the cool part. As God brings you through the humbling and through the training, this is how he makes you stronger for that dream and for that vision to come to fruition. And that's what he's doing here. So let's look at it. So, but they saw him from a distance. Of course, we said he plotted to kill him. Here comes that dreamer, they said to each other, come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns, these wells in the ground, and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. And then we'll see what comes of his dreams. See? Yeah. They're angry enough that they don't want him to succeed. When Reuben heard this, and one of the brothers, he tried to rescue him from their hands. Let's not take his life, he said. Don't shed any blood. Throw him into the cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him. So Reuben said this to rescue him from them and take him back to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his robe, the ornate robe he was wearing, the robe of many colors, and they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty and there was no water in it. So technically, he wasn't going to drown or anything until it rained. But they left him for dead. Mm-hmm. Nice brothers, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as they sat down to eat their meal, they looked up. Can you imagine? I can't skip over that. They just basically did away with their brother.
Mm-hmm.
And they go and they're sitting eating a meal. Hey, let's go to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
We got rid of him.
Oh no.
And see, here's the thing.
Awful.
You have a vision and something that people are jealous of, and they don't want to see you succeed. They're going to do everything they can to try to get rid of it and stomp it out. It's kind of like going over a said procedure in Congress to say, we already did it once, we'll do it again to make a point. Oh, you're not just gone. We want to make sure you never come back.
Wow.
See, it's one thing to say to someone, listen, no thank you. It's another thing to almost like spike the football in their face and saying, no, not only will you not, but I'm going to slam the door in your face as well. You're making a point now. You're saying this isn't going to, I'm not even just going to politely turn you down. I'm going to make sure you understand that I'm shutting the door on you. There's a big difference there. Huge difference. As they sat down to their meal, they looked up and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead, and their camels were loaded with spices, balm, and myrrh, and they were on their way to take them down to Egypt. Next slide. Judah said to his brothers, what will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let's sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay our hands on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. And his brothers agreed, so now there's a change of heart. Okay? So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up from the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites who took him to Egypt. So they got a little money out of it.
Oh,
Nice brothers.
Mm-hmm.
When Reuben returned to the cistern, he saw that Joseph was not there, and he tore his clothes. And he went back to his brothers and said, the boy isn't there. Where can I turn now? Next slide. Then they got Joseph's robe, slaughtered a goat, and dipped the robe in blood. And they took the ornate robe back to the father and said, we found this. Examine it to see whether it's your son's robe. He recognized it and said, it's my son's robe. Some ferocious animal has devoured him. Joseph has surely been torn to pieces.
Wow.
And then Jacob tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and mourned for his son many days. All his sons and daughters came to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted and said, no, I will continue to mourn until I join my son in the grave. So his father wept for him.
Oh.
Meanwhile, the Midianites sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials and the captain of the guard. Now, before we go any further, that was a lot of reading. Let's backtrack a second, okay? Look at the transactions that's going on here. He's told to go out into the field. He's obeying his father. He's told to go out in the field and go check on your brothers. Seems like a simple, honest thing. Had no idea what was about to happen.
Right.
Now, the question that I would insert in this is, why did God allow that? But see, if you don't read the rest of the story, you don't understand it. Now, here's the thing. That's what faith is. Because we don't see the rest of the story. We're not privy to that. So God has something over here, and you think it's this, and it could be, but wait a minute, it's not supposed to go down that way. I'm supposed to just start the church, get a building, have 200 people, have a kids ministry, preach the gospel, and here I am. But life didn't go that way. And all of a sudden COVID happens. And that blows you out of the water even more. So now all of a sudden, now what? Oh, let's bring it to our living room. Bring it to our garage.
Right.
Wait, it's not supposed to go down that way. We still should be in a building. Why did we leave a building? Churches have buildings. That is a church, right?
No.
Wrong.
No, wrong. We are the church.
So, it didn't go as planned. So we think. So we think. Because what the enemy looked like he was trying to do to us, or do to Joseph, God was allowing it to make it into something that is going to help him fulfill and get him to a place to fulfill his destiny. Let's bring it back to us here now. The things that you may experience in life, you're going, this is horrible. I hate this. I don't want to do this. Or I hate this job. Or why am I married to this person? Whatever your situation is, if you look at it in that realm, yeah, it's going to eat you up all day long. But if you could get past it and start to walk in faith and still believe that there's a bigger picture going on here to fulfill a vision, it changes your mindset. Now, truth be told, I have my highs and I have my lows. There are days where I'm like, yes. And there are days I'm like, they sold me off to the Potiphar.
No, you don't think.
And again, I know I'm the only one that experiences this. Because in your personal lives that I don't need to know about, there's disappointments. There's times where you may think that something should have gone this way and it didn't. So the question is, did God forget us? Did he give up on it? Did he just do what he did or allow in the political realm and said, well, that's it for him? Or is there a bigger picture going on? And that's what we have to see. Bill, you came on a great day, man, because I preach to myself all the time. These guys just happen to come and listen. I do this. Thank you, brother. You know, it's therapy. You know, and I'm so used to Tamara being back there just nailing her coffee and just sitting there like, he's crazy. I don't know why I'm here, but and I just do this because this is therapy. All right, this is Steve therapy right here. So you guys are privy to see this. And see, here's the thing. Not knowing, he had an idea, but he had no idea what the bigger picture was. I'm sure he probably said, what the beep is going on here? Because, wait a minute, I'm just supposed to rule over people. I'll just hop into the role. No, you got to go through boot camp. You got to go through training. Whatever your next step is in your personal lives, there's training for it. And that training may not be something we like. I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom, okay? I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that there's going to be moments where he's going to test you. He's going to bring things in your life or allow things to come in your life to move you in a direction. It's easy to sit and just sit and say, well, okay, Lord, the vision. Okay, how do I do this? And all of a sudden, he causes something to happen that now pushes you in the next step that you were praying about. But you didn't know what step to do, but all of a sudden, he pushes you now in this direction and brings it to you and says, no, I need you to do here. And if you haven't had that, stick around this earth a little longer, and you'll see it. Your comfort zone is going to be rocked. Christianity is not comfort. It's not what you want all the time, and it's not the easy way. If it was, you know where I'd be right now. Palm trees. South.
Mickey
Mouse. Okay? But that ain't where it's at.
No.
It's easy to leave the city and just go like this. It's done. It's simple. We can still do this. You guys can all come visit. We'll still broadcast from here. That's not what's going on here, guys. And so when it gets tough and when things start to happen and you got to press in, yeah, there's moments where you're going to feel like David and you're going to read the Psalms and he says, how long, O Lord? But you're going to press through that and move through that one step at a time. And every time that you do, you're going to become stronger.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
See?
Thank you,
You're going to become stronger. And it might take where it's just you and God to do that. Instead of having other people at you going, well, just believe and just trust. I've heard that for so long that when people say it to me, I grit my teeth and I clench my fist. Because I've had 13 years of that. And I know it, but I don't want to hear it right now. I just want to move through it. So it's me and God. I don't hear nobody. At that point, it's like just me and God. I need you to speak to me, Lord. This is your doing. You want me to do this. I don't want to hear from nobody but you. I just need you to speak to me and say, hey, this is what I need you to do now. And then when I have my discussions with him, there's nobody else that's going to filter that and say, well, just do this and do that. It's right here. And there are a need for prophets, and there is always a need for people to